Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Rollwise Show, the place where we talk about and play games. My name is Mike, and I'm joined by my two friends, Jeff and Brent. And tonight, we are going to be continuing our foray into the game Spire, where we have picked up the Quickstart from Rowan, Rook and Decard, and we are playing through Snuff Out the Sun. Now, of course, we're a little bit into the gameplay, as we've had a significant number of days have passed and some machinations are being put into place to hopefully succeed at stopping the Ascension ritual. And if none of this makes any sense, because this is your first time stopping here, we do have a playlist set up so that you can listen to the previous episodes that led up to this point. So if you want to keep on listening, go ahead. Otherwise, if you want to catch up, you can click into the playlist and you can start from the beginning and see how the game is played and all of our trials and tribulations to get up until this point. So, just as a little bit of a recap, we're on day 4. So this is really the last day before the Ascension ceremony takes place, and both of our characters here have different ideas and different plans that they've put into place. I believe the first plan that we really should start focusing on is going to be Brent and Derwent, because he's working with Sub-Abbess Philydia and making friends would be the way to put it, and trying to get her to help him get into the Ascension ceremony proper, because he has a plan himself. So Brent, why don't you go ahead and start us off here? Unless there was anything from the morning of or the evening of day 3 that was unresolved, which I don't believe there was. We can start at the morning of day 4, and I believe your plan from last time was that you were going to kind of try to intercept Sub-Abbess Philydia. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was going to meet her again in the morning and have her again kind of see if I can talk her into putting us somewhere near a doorway on the route to the ceremony.
Okay. So I think that based on the work that you've done and kind of the friendship you've implanted in this situation, she seems really amicable to the idea. As we kind of discussed before, part of the fact that she's kind of overworked, you seem very friendly, and you've kind of been just a nice person in a very stressful time to her. She's kind of overlooking the fact that really you're a strange person that suddenly approached her, kind of almost out of nowhere, and started being very nice to a person that's a very important member of the Ascension planning and all that stuff. But she says that while logistically she's doing much of the planning and everything like that, to take part in that, she actually has to bring you in and meet with another member of the church, because she's got a lot of the planning and a lot of the arrangements that's happening kind of around the scenes, but the day-to-day logistics about what's actually happening with the ceremony is going to be handled by an individual named Prior Gauth Merrowline, and he's a functionary within the church. He's a lower level priest, but he's the one responsible for setting up like ushers, making sure the right people are where they need to be, the actual Ascension Day plan and everything like that. And since it's happening tomorrow, if you want to come with her today, she'd be happy to introduce you to Prior Merrowline and make sure that if there's an opportunity for you to help with the Ascension, she says hollowly, that would be your best way to get in.
Oh yeah, we'll go with her.
Okay. Will it just be you that goes with her, or Bonchance, are you taking a part in any of this?
He's not there in the morning, so I assume it's...
Yeah, I'm probably not there.
Let me run and get my friend. It's probably...
No, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be like, oh, by the way.
It's probably go right now or don't go at all. So...
Okay. Yeah, so that would be, because pretty much as soon as she departs from the Jubilation Apartments, she's going to be working the rest of the day, finalizing any last minute preparations for the Ascension ceremony tomorrow.
So I'll go with her and see if I can see what I can see.
Well, she makes small talk, and she's surprisingly easy to talk to. Obviously she feels like a genuine friendship is developing and a deepening of the bonds. And so she's very much engaging in small talk and having a little pep in her step as she's going to the basilica itself to do her planning and to do the introduction. So we'll leave you there, Brent. Jeff, what about you? Before we really advance Brent down the road, what are you starting with your day and where are you planning?
Yeah, that's the hard part. I still don't know if I believe that I can get into the Amaranth.
Okay.
But that seems to be where all the answers that I need are. And I really don't want to talk to the bishop because he sort of gave me the X.
Bishop Solemn Rise?
Yeah.
Okay.
So honestly,
and you did stand him up. Just a reminder.
No, I did. I also did stand him up.
At this point, that is true.
Yes. So I think maybe what I will do is try to walk around the Amaranth, see if I can find any of the streets that seem to be slightly less guarded.
You could try to
anything that
I'm not there. Never mind. I guess we could talk. The night before, I could have said you could try and go somewhere to try and get a mask and high elf clothes to try and look like a high elf to get in. Because you could say, I mean, you're used to being a servant. You could say you're buying it for your person, and then try that.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think I want to check out the security first before I do any of those ideas. See if they're like turning away a bunch of people or how they cost the people who go through there. If they, like, do they know everyone? So the people they know, they let through, and then everybody else gets, shaken down. I want to observe the security. So it's mostly information gathering in the morning, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not doing a lot, but observing.
Yeah. And so there's a few things that obviously you notice is that the actual the main way into the Amaranth seems to be along Cagliostro Boulevard. That is the main venue that goes through. And like any good society that has a class system, it's tightly regulated as to who can pass. I mean, obviously the guards have, so for example, the fact that you guys are in the, the Solar Basilica and everything like that really means that there's quite a mixing of people from pilgrims of various social statuses and everything like that, drow and everything. The general air around the festivities. So there is actually more security that leads into the Amaranth. And of course, the guards are not the autumn paladins that you see traveling around and providing general security around the Solar Basilica. These people that are guarding kind of this area are the Black Guard, and these are considered kind of an elite. These are not your just typical rank and file security guards. These would be actual people, quite kind of dangerous individuals, and that in itself just the sheer presence of these individuals is enough to keep most ne'er-do-wells from even attempting to go in. So, I mean, most of the people that comprise the traffic either are in well-known carriages or have other livery or something like that makes it very easy for them to wave those wagons on through. And of course, through your observations, anybody that doesn't seem to have that immediately identifiable thing does get a fairly they get questioned, talked to, until the Black Guard feel like they've assessed that person belongs in there. Now, since you're in the morning, the traffic seems like it's mostly leaving the Amaranth. There's very few people going in, since it seems like a lot of people are actually going to these other districts. And especially since today is the day before the actual Ascension ceremony, many festivities are increasing in liveliness and stuff, kind of a crescendo to that last day. So, as you do this, though, I believe there's probably some ways that we can identify what you're doing here. So you have compel, fight, fix, pursue, high society, low society, and occult. So to Brent's suggestion, you do have high society. So it does seem as though you might be able to make your way through, and you might even be able to use something like a compel on these individuals to try to make your to try to force them in or something like that. Or if you'd like, you can try, even though it may not be your strong point, you can try to find maybe more other ways to get into this location.
Yeah, the problem is I'm drawing a blank, and it feels like if I get caught, they don't just say go away. It feels like you go to jail.
There's a likelihood. And because these guys are empowered to be the brutal enforcers of, the law at this level, you might find that they may not find kindly to somebody trying to get in without a proper reason.
Yeah, I am drawing a blank, if I'm being honest. The odds don't feel great.
Mm-hmm. Well,
even with 3 dice in the pool, they don't feel great.
Well, so maybe the Amaranth feels challenging, but so what's your goal? Your goal is to find information about Henry. Your goal is to find information about what? What is your ultimate goal?
And remember, today, just make sure I understand. Today is the day of, right? Like
no, the day before. Tomorrow
is the Ascension.
So we either find information that can discredit her today, or we have to go with your radical plan B on the parade route tomorrow.
Correct. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Right, but I can't help with plan B if I'm arrested.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't really have a backup. This is not great role playing, but the way it is the game doesn't seem to want me to try to get in there.
There's a few things that we could look at here. So if your goal is to find information on Henry, there is one person that that at least knows him, that does, you know what I'm saying, that at least knows him.
The T person.
So there is at least someone that knows of him there. Now, there is obviously, like, if you were to look at your low society and everything like that and try to go through those contacts, as with anything, there are probably ways into the Amaranth that even the Blackguard don't know about. I mean, there are certain proclivities that some people have that they would like to even keep shielded from the eyes of the elite wardens that you have. So there may be ways to find information about as to what those could be. But that would be more like a low society investigate kind of thing. So kind of just maybe some suggestions as to where you might look.
No, I mean, I got to imagine I know some people that are slightly skeevy that may smuggle stuff, including people in and out of places. So I can maybe try to talk to them, but yeah, it seems like a needle in a haystack too. But it doesn't feel like I'm going to go to prison for trying to find that out. So,
okay, all right.
Probably not. So prison. You'll just be detained.
I'll let you kind of stew on your plan there, Jeff, because there's obviously there are other suggestions I'm sure are out there that you can think about if you'd like. But Brent, let's head back to you for a moment while Jeff thinks about where he's going with that and what his character may attempt to do, either foolish or brave. So you're making your way to the Solar Basilica and you're kind of engaging in small talk and enjoying kind of your time going up there, eventually reaching the Plaza of Thousand Suns, Anything you'd like to do before you reach this prior, or just straight to the prior is fine.
Straight for the prior. There's nothing.
Okay. So she winds you through kind of the administrative portion of the Solar Basilica, kind of taking you away from the areas of worship and what seems to be a ceremonial ground that's been set up, that's going to probably be the place of the Ascension where the parade ends and everything like that. And then she taking you to kind of an office in the back, not necessarily an office of high importance or anything like that. She knocks and is granted access, and you see a man sitting behind a desk. He definitely seems like a little bit of a meek man, spectacles on his brow, kind of hunched shoulders, piles of books and everything like that, maps laid out, and a few empty cups near him right now, as it seems like he's already started the day trying to make sure that everything is set up for the logistics of the actual Ascension. And he seems he seems like he would be okay to see Sub-Abbess Philydia, but he does have a little bit of a questioning look when he sees you enter into the room. I assume that you're going to let Sub-Abbess Philydia do the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, long story short, she introduces you as a person, and she vouches for you, and she suggests
for her.
What's that?
Oh, this is going to suck for her.
Well, she's going out on a limb. That compel and making friends does.
She's going to be
hurt the ones
pushed off the limb, most likely. But yeah, okay.
And she recommends, because she suggests that the prior, having heard his complaints that there aren't enough people helping with the ground setup, and then that the number of ushers aren't meeting the celestial number, suggests that you in the proper attire could easily pass for an usher to assure that the Ascension Day, the image of the Ascension Day is quite marvelous. She doesn't have very many more people, but because it's such a trusted position, but she obviously trusts you enough to do the introduction. The prior looks you over and not really wanting to fight it, says, okay, well, I can speak with him and see where his talents would be best utilized. And with that, Sub-Abbess Philydia excuses herself and leaves you with the prior, Brent.
Okay.
So he kind of sits you down and goes through what would be, you could tell is a little bit of like a questioning, like, who are you? Like, he introduces himself and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of like almost asks you where you feel you could be, most helpful with the ascension of the glorious new Archbishop and everything like that.
Well, like, does he have does he have a route or anything? Like, what is he? What exactly is he asking? Because I don't know. We don't know I don't know anything about the work that they're doing. Like, he's asking me, what do you think you're good at? And it's like, what the fuck is the job? Like, it didn't explain anything. So, I mean, it could be just another body standing guard or whatever, what work do they want done? Because me and my companion can pretty much do whatever work needs to be done to help this be a smooth transition for the church.
So he's like, well, so he outlines the process, and the process is incredibly complicated. As you can tell, that the number of people to proceed with this ascension is fairly large. And what seems to happen is it seems to be a process of, once the parade reaches the reaches this. The abbot, the current archbishop needs to be elevated to this platform. The new person being ascended to the archbishop is also, needs to be escorted to the platform. A ritual is completed, and during this time, this is where the people are. This is where the people are mostly at. So there's pretty much a chain of ushers that helps take both the current archbishop and the ascending member to their locations. The ascending member, of course, being part of a parade, gets off and then ascends to the platform with the help of several ushers to reach the top. And so, kind of outlining it and giving you an idea that that's where you're at. Those are at least the important parts that you pick out, considering your plan is to use the doorway bit there.
Yeah, we just need to be. My goal is just. I mean, basically, if they just want a drow representation there they might not care. The pitch is that drow representation, if they needed to do work, we'll do it. But drow representation for their coronation might be healthy for relations between the two groups, because we all know that's complicated. And I'm supportive of this. And that's pretty much what my pitch is. I'm willing to do whatever work they would like us to do before, but during the actual ceremony, standing in observance and reverence and that sort of thing is kind of the pitch, I think, for me and another person near a doorway.
Okay.
That's not suspicious at all.
It depends. He looks at you and he there's a certain there's a certain thing that looks through, and you can tell that he may have questions kind of formulating in his mind. And one of the things that you do notice that you see basically a golden pin on his lapel, a 7-pointed star that you haven't seen on Sub-Abbess Philydia or anything like that. It's kind of an interesting thing that he has hidden here. But
I mean, if I can see it, it's not hidden. And
well, sure, not hidden, but it's attached to his collar in a way. And he looks kind of appraisingly, because there's a part of him that seems like he's kind of doing a little bit of calculations in there, and he seems to be using some information. He's like, so you think the drow would be supportive regardless of who ascends to the position of archbishop. That's interesting. Well,
I tell him, actually what I say is I think they would be more supportive of anyone if there was drow representation there for it happening. Is more what I'm saying.
Well, that's I could definitely see that. Well, we do have we have guidance around the celestial numerology that suggests that we have to have certain numbers of people in certain places, and we've had a hard time finding the right people for some of these celestial bodies, as you would say. So let us walk, and I will show you the grounds, and we will discuss more as you go through there. So he doesn't really talk a ton about it, but he does kind of explain, as
and I do have compel if we want to roll for it to see how much he. How much?
No, it doesn't seem like it's necessary at this point. He seems to look at a few, he kind of explains the parade route, and he explains where the positions are. And you have, let's see, in your character, you have an investigate. I kind of would like you to, since you're kind of casing the joint, I feel like it might be a good idea to have you, I guess, case the joint.
I'm not really casing the joint. I should already know from maps and stuff where the door is, and I'm basically saying, put us there. I'm trying to
So that would be your compel,
right? I'm trying to say
then let's.
there's an exact place you should put us, and that's what you should do is put us there.
Okay, yeah. Then I think that I think we can. If you want to be in a precise place, let's go with that as your compel reason there.
I think that's just 2d10 because I don't think I have a second thing that I can use. It's academia, occult, and technology is the only other three that I have. So I think academia would be. I didn't do that beforehand. Never mind, because I think that's clearly before. I have to do it before. No, I think it's. Let me look. Let me pull up Derwent's sheet real quick with the details on it. One sec.
You can smell knowledge.
Well, there's the one that'll give me that I can take a like a knack. But does a knack have to be in a skill that I have already, or could I take it in a skill that I don't have? Like, could I take knack, a knack in religion to try and talk him into it? Because that would give me an extra dice. Otherwise, it's 2d10.
Well, I would think it would be because it says at the start of each session you gain a knack of any knack of your choosing.
Yeah, it didn't say anything. So yeah, so we can. It does say at the start of the session. I forgot it said that. So okay, 2d10.
That's okay. That's okay. What kind of knack were you thinking in this case?
I don't know what knacks there are. I don't remember what knacks there are. I'm just trying to get an extra dice. What about religion? What would be a good religious knack?
Oh, I mean, there's got to be something with ceremony in there.
Just 1 second.
So, because I mean, the knacks is if you possess a skill or domain and gain it a second time, you gain a knack of proficiency with a particular facet of a broad spectrum covered by the skill or domain. But what's interesting is that it says you can gain a knack in any kind of knack. So I wonder if you could apply it like this. And this is Mike as a suggestion, if this makes sense to you, is that you have occult, which means you're fairly good at religion, and you have compel. And what if, because he's mentioned numerology and stuff like that, what if your knack was in the
occult? If that works for you, I mean, that would.
Because it seems as though there seems to be a certain process.
That would actually give me 4 dice, because that would give me the base dice, the compel dice, the occult dice, the knack dice.
Wow, that's good.
Are you willing to give that to me? Because I'm fine with that. If you're willing to give it to me,
it would just suggest that your knack would only really be useful in this maybe one instance of session.
Well, that's what this skill's really for. Is a knack. It's only good once during a thing with kind of a pre-planned thing. So I could take occult ceremony as a knack.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that's what I could do. Wouldn't necessarily give me knowledge about their specific religious ceremony, but would give me a knowledge of ceremonies in general to try and talk him to where to put us.
And basically the numerology component could probably leverage of some kind.
I rolled an 8 as the highest.
Okay. Spire 8. So if we go to our trusty how do things work, I believe an 8 is a success without any consequence, which
woohoo.
So yeah, basically an 8 is a deal stress to an adversary using your equipment dice, or you just succeed. Since you're now successful, what would that look like to you? Do you basically you have like a doorway that you've planned out from the maps that you've seen that you feel like
agrees that we can put her next to that doorway, and then we can just it just agrees that we can stand there and look representational, but not necessarily threatening, hopefully. And if we're there, we can just disrupt the ceremony that way.
Yeah, and so he does a little bit of the calculus in his head, and he's just like, your understanding of these things is quite good. I think that does make sense, and I believe that there's probably a pattern in which we can apply this to that most people would be satisfied with. It kind of gives you an appraising and like the equivalent of a prior giving you a thumbs up. Good job, old chap, kind of thing. I don't know. But he does continue to, since you apparently seem to share his love for the finer details, he then proceeds to bore you for the next.
I'm actually not bored. I'm actually fairly interested in what's going on. And it's good stuff to know. So like, I'm actually okay with him sharing whatever knowledge he has with me. If he walks me around and continues to talk about all of the ceremonial stuff, I just happily follow him around.
And of course, as he's doing this, he seems to be, giving out jobs, odd jobs, and everything like that to, tighten this up, do these things, adjust these placements. But then he continues his discussion of religion, solar, and everything like that. And he goes, the one thing that is, and he kind of lets slip almost as he seems to be free talking about it, is that he's just like, yes, it's got to be a very precise ceremony. So I don't think you understand it at this, with according to our calculations with this. I mean, this must take place at noon tomorrow because the solar event happens at that time. So any deviation from this could spell could spell could be very harrowing for the people involved.
That's good information. Too bad I didn't hear it.
I nod sagely. It's probably not.
You nod sagely, Brent.
You probably will not regret telling me that at all. Let me just say that ahead of time. Okay. And yes, you heard it because I'm going to tell you as soon as I get back to the where we are. So,
okay. So we can assume that Brent is getting filled in on his roles, his duties, and everything like that. Being an usher that forms one of the links between the ascendee and the ascendant. That's probably better. The ascendant and the archbishop. And so, all right. So Jeff, we're giving you a minute to do anything else you want to do, Brent, before we move over to Jeff?
No, I think that's as long as he agreed to the disaster.
As long as you got what you wanted, everything's great.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's usually how my character feels. As long as everything worked out the way that he wanted, we're good.
Okay. Jeff, you.
I'm going to go back and see the tea merchant.
Okay. So the tea merchant, Rayan.
Is Rayan Aelfir or Drow?
He is an Aelfir, but he does have Drow that work in the tea wholesaler and shop.
I want to use Protector's Eye. Which once per situation, I get to ask the GM what a particular NPC wishes to protect above all else.
Okay. So while I think about that, now is that kind of contingent on like what your plan is going to be? Is what you learned from this?
I think it's more contingent on how the plan plays out. I think the plan that we have is going to be the plan that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to ask if he has a few moments to speak to him privately or speak to them privately about an urgent matter.
Okay.
Well, me punching the shit out of you.
I do have fight, and I believe my character can fight, but I think we're We're gonna try to be a little more seditious.
Yes, I just thought it was funny. I have a quick word about me hitting you in the face a bunch of times until you tell me what I want to know.
Okay. So let's see. What does he...
I'm just hoping that the tea seller has something I can use, but if they don't, they don't, and I'll just have to, go through with compel.
It's been doing wonders for me.
So as you... Okay. I think I have an idea as to what the tea-monger wants to protect. So the tea-monger, what your protector's eye tells you, your ancient instinct, as you watch how he interacts with people, the feeling you get is that he seems to be very much like his reputation is one of the most important things to him. Whether that be a reputation for good service, whether that be a reputation for providing a safe place for people, whether that be the best products in the Solar Basilica, his reputation seems to be the thing he wants to protect above all else.
Interesting. I may be able to use that. Yeah, I ask if he has a few minutes where we could step out back and talk in private.
So yeah, he recognizes you from the day before, and he's like, "Oh, well." He kind of looks surprised. He's like, "Was there a problem with the tea I gave you?"
The tea was excellent, but I have heard some disturbing news that may impact, our mutual friend.
Oh, well, that's terrible. Well, he seems curious enough and a little bit worried. So he takes you to a back room where he has an office, and he suggests if you'd like, he can serve you a cup of tea while you help him understand what problem may be inflicted upon, or maybe with his friend, this mutual friend.
Yeah, I let him know that there are rumors as I'm sipping my tea, and thank him and tell him that it's excellent. As usual, little flattery. But that there are rumors amongst the servants in the Amaranth that Henry is carrying on a relationship that would be problematic if it became public.
Takes a sip of the tea in order to kind of give pause to his response and maybe give you a little bit of air to continue talking. Do you continue talking, or?
Yeah, I
turns into a long sip.
No, it's. I say I didn't know where else to go because he seemed like such a kind person. When he assisted me, and I would hate for the kind of fallout that would happen. I mean, I can't even voice what it is, but I think you understand what I'm talking about. How the things that could happen to him if the public found out, and I haven't been able to sleep, but it's running through the workers in the Amaranth, particularly the Drow, it's the only news that they care to talk about. And with that many people talking about things, secrets become public.
Ooh, that is quite troublesome indeed. He agrees. And he's like, well, as limited as my help can be in this situation, what could I do to help Henry?
I think he has to be told that his relationship is about to become public, before the big day tomorrow. And that would be horrible for him specifically. I'm not
saying it's going to be me that tells everybody, but.
Well, apparently it's all the loose lips in the Amaranth.
Yeah, I know. It was just funny.
I don't fully know how you start a rumor tree like this, but I don't know.
I'm not saying I'm going to screw him over a lot, but...
Well, no, he was very kind and helped me out, so obviously it wouldn't be me because I'm here trying to help him.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure he realizes how volatile his situation is, and love will out and all of that, but if the rumors are true, and I'm not saying they are, but if the rumors are true, everything could come to a head tomorrow before the ceremony.
That sounds terrible. So I know, and as of course you engage in small talk, and he lets the air breathe quite a bit as he takes very strategic sips on his tea and understanding like
do
what's
I get
going
the
on.
Sense that he knows everything that I know, or that he's just humoring me?
Well, let's put it like this. There's a sense of suspicion, right? Obviously Henry wears fine clothes, and so that would mean that as part of his durance, or whatever position he's achieved for himself, that would indicate he had some means, which is not impossible for Drow, of course. But obviously, Henry never talks about himself in a personal or work matter or anything like that. He just talks about the needs that he has to do. And the term that you hear is mistress, but in this case, mistress kind of carries a dual connotation suddenly for Rayan, as it seems to maybe imply that not only was his mistress, lady of the house, but now maybe there's more to it that you seem to be dropping on his plate. Is that a fair assumption? And so overall, your goal in this is to basically just start a rumor with the tea-monger or something like that, or how does that play? Like ultimately, your small talk leads you to start
a rumor with the tea-monger, and also potentially have him, either help me connect with Henry or help me get into the Amaranth, or help me find a third party that may be able to get word to Henry. And he may do that on his own. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you seem to get the impression that he really doesn't, he doesn't seem to want to do anything overt, because the one thing you do know is the fact that, since he's an Elfir, and Henry, while he's a valued customer and everything like that as a Drow, he doesn't feel like it's his maybe responsibility to maybe warn Henry of this. I mean, obviously, whatever beds he does that, but seeming as though he's a kinder individual, or maybe there's a sense that who knows exactly the motivation that leads us to it. But he does suggest to you that when Henry doesn't have a chance to get to the tea house and pick up his normal tea orders and everything like that, he does send a runner named Sansel, who will who will do this on his behalf, and of course, take his orders, whatever he needs, whatever sundries, goods, groceries that exist outside the Amaranth, and take them to Henry.
Okay.
He knows how to find Sansel and can give you the instructions on how to get to him, though.
I thank him and say I didn't know what kind of help you would be able to provide, but this sounds like an excellent chance to get word to him, and I'm more than willing. I'm out running my mistress's errands, and
I'm just giving you guys a quick note as to who it was,
and I would be happy to try to contact Sansel and see if I could talk to them.
Okay. Well, since Sansel does do odd jobs and runs for these types of things, he gives you a location where you can easily find Sansel in another part of this. I mean, assuming he's not out on a job or something like that.
Sure.
But he's typically there frequently, either running to and fro, organizing deliveries, whatever it may be.
Well, I thank him for his kindness and let him know that my mistress loved the tea and that, I will be singing his praises any chance that I get.
All right. And so at this point, is it like beeline to Sansel, or what is your current plotting?
I think probably head towards Sansel.
Okay. So to get to Sansel isn't very difficult. It's just in another part of the basilica, a little bit off of the plaza and everything like that. And following Rayan's directions, it's not terribly difficult to get to the location that Sansel runs, like basically a corner odd jobs and deliveries out of. It's like basically a small little. I wouldn't call it a bodega because it's more like imagine like just a messenger shop. So it's just a place where goods trade, and he's not the one that runs it. It's basically a small organization of people that do running and all that kind of stuff.
It's a messenger service.
Mm-hmm, a messenger and parcel service, basically.
Okay.
All right. So making a beeline there, you get to the shop, and the person behind the counter kind of, looks at you. It does appear to be a drow, and it kind of like looks at you expectantly, like, what do you need?
I need to speak with Sansel if I could.
Kind of yells towards the back room, and he says, Sansel, you got somebody here for you. And then he kind of gruffly jokes like about how did you mess up or something like that. And now they came in person. Kind of makes a joke at their expense. Sansel, of course, coming out from the back room, it's kind of a younger drow. It probably looks like he's actually in his durance, and this might be part of his durance as being a messenger. Okay. Looks like he looks at you and he's just like, well, I don't know this person, so I obviously didn't mess anything up.
I said, Sansel, I understand that sometimes you deliver packages to a drow in the Amaranth named Henry.
He looks at you, and he looks at the other guy, and he says, maybe we should talk outside.
Okay. I follow him outside.
He's like, do you know Henry?
We have met briefly.
Because, I mean, I wish you wouldn't have said that in there, because I wasn't doing that on the books.
Interesting. You may be of more help than I thought.
Do you say that to him? It's menacingly?
Yes.
He looks at you, the blood kind of drains from his face, and he's like, he doesn't know how to respond. I said obviously his immaturity is like
calm
fight
down.
Or flight.
You're all right. I was just wondering if you knew of any ways that one might be able to get into the Amaranth without going through a checkpoint.
Since compel seems to be our
it is
our stat of the
it is the convince.
It is the convince.
Let's compel
Actually,
in low society.
No, I think honestly, you caught him off guard at this point, and he's not exactly sure what's happening. So since he's a little off guard, you've kind of caught him in a weird situation. And the fact that you just kind of menaced him, like you were going to be more helpful than I thought.
Menaced him?
He's just like, I don't exactly know what's going on here. And he's like, okay, whatever you want. But I can't be seen with you again. Tell Henry I am not doing anything for him ever again. That's it.
As long as you answer all of my questions, we never have to see each other again.
Fine. I never knew you never knew me. And then he's just like, so what do you want to know?
First, how well do you know Henry? Is he just a client, or do you know him personally?
Client. I did a delivery for him. He pulled me aside, offered me some extra if I were to do deliveries on, whatever I needed him, kind of on an emergency basis. That's it. I don't ask any questions. Just gives me the money. I get him what he needs. I keep the extra. Sometimes I got him a little less. I won't tell him that, but surprisingly truthful.
Okay. I just wanted to know if you had a personal involvement or if it was just monetary. Either way, it's fine. Do you know ways into the Amaranth without going through a checkpoint?
You can tell that it seems like he's debating on telling you this part because this would be valuable information. I'm going to ask you to do the compel for this question specifically, just because, these are secrets. They're important secrets.
So let's use compel and low society.
Okay.
So that would be 3d10, right?
Yes.
998.
9.
I don't even know why I'm asking you guys to roll, really. Okay, so success. Good. So why don't you describe to me like the way that you feel like you suggest to him very strongly that he needs to tell you this information or there may be consequences?
I gently put my hand on his shoulder and squeeze as I lean down to stare into his eyes and say, I have as much to lose as you do. And if this wasn't important, I wouldn't be asking.
Okay. He's like, okay. Fine. I'm never going to see you again. You never heard it from me. But if you fuck this up, then I don't know what I'm going to do about it because it's okay. When I was a kid, I was playing and I've discovered these vents. These vents have not been repaired. So they're a little iffy, but they take you right through over to the southwest, the southeastern part of Amaranth. Once you're over there, though, I mean, just got to act like you belong there. Nobody's going to ask questions. Nobody asked me any questions. But man, nobody can know about that. That's my meal ticket, man. They don't pay me anything during this. I got to have this money.
I'm not here to jeopardize your livelihood. I'm here to try to prevent a great tragedy.
Only your safety.
He's like, I don't really want any part of that. I just really don't want to ever see you again.
Valid.
I can't wait to show up in my midwife robes and say that I have a delivery.
Okay. So, any other questions for him?
I believe everything he's telling me, or does it feel like he's holding something back?
with the way that you kind of imparted on him the urgency, the threat, subtle and overt, that you did throughout this entire process, you feel like he's being truthful. You have obviously no way to verify that that's what he's saying.
That's fine.
He gives you he gives you good enough directions to what would be possibly a vent in disrepair that he calls out. And especially since, some of these winding areas get to be crazy, it doesn't seem impossible that a kid playing could find some weird back way in there.
I thank him. I give him a small tip, and I let him know that if anybody's waiting for me when I get to these vents, some of my colleagues will be paying him a visit.
He says, "Okay, man. Trust me. I don't ever want to see you after this day. Period." And he just and then he yells and he's like, "I never want to see you again." And he just kind of ushers you off, and then goes back into the office, kind of complaining about this person who thought they knew him and blah 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 blah. And you can tell as the door closes, he seems to be trying to fabricate a reason why you're talking about those things. Now, whether his deceive role is better, who knows?
No, yeah, that's his thing. That's not mine. All right, okay. I will head towards the events.
All right,
and check them out.
So I remember. I think I sent you the how it looks and everything like that. The different layers and everything are obviously part of this just immense spire. So there's just nooks and crannies everywhere. Following his rather articulate directions and everything like that, it's actually not too difficult to find what he's talking about. It does get a little bit winding back there, and you kind of have to double back because some of that is due to the fact that nobody really wants to be on the periphery. It's not really the most maintained, and especially since some of these areas, suffer from having remnants of the what is that called, Brent? The Vermisian.
Vermisian.
How do you say it? The Vermisian. You see some of part of that bureaucratic project, kind of showing its head at other places and stuff like that. Way stations that are unused, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, but you make your way to the vent. It's a little bit of a tight fit, he probably has to squeeze in and everything like that.
Sure.
But it does go through a little bit of a labyrinthine pathway as it makes its way to the Amaranth section. Getting there, what is your plan when you get to the Amaranth?
The Amaranth.
To try to find a servant who may know where Sister Crimson Clouds lives. Okay. Pretend that I'm a messenger and that I'm lost because I've never been in the Amaranth.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking for kind of a servant, a drow servant, I assume.
Yeah, a drow servant. Yes, no Aelfir.
Okay, so once you emerge into the actual Amaranth itself, the Amaranth is like a different world. What you kind of imagine Hyde living is. Really, it was hard to even imagine the types of things that they have here. The how when you go to a place and you can instantly tell you're in a place where a lot of money congregates. Well, imagine, because there's magic and everything like that. It's more cold up here. There's the glistening of fake snow. There are these this, like the entire place is carpeted. The walls are pristine and white. Houses are twisting relics of Aelfir architecture and everything like that as they've been put into the Spire.
Okay.
It is just, it's like overwhelmingly alien to how the rest of the Spire lives by comparison. Finding a servant isn't difficult. Obviously, the servants pass through and they're kind of doing their various chores and duties throughout everything like that. They do seem a little surprised, obviously, to get to have you talk with them just kind of out of the blue and stuff like that, and not knowing you.
I would try to walk with them. I'd be very apologetic. I'm so sorry. This is my first time here. I'm just a messenger, and I am hopelessly lost.
They agree. They kind of jest like, "Oh, it's really easy to get turned around up here," and they kind of whisper to you like, "Oh man, it's just so different through here." And they point you to where you would actually find Sister Crimson's residence. It looks like she lives in kind of a nicer apartment, not a full like estate or something like that. But that is where she lives.
Okay. I will. I thank them profusely, and let them get along their way, and hope that someday I can repay the favor for them.
Okay. All right. And they wish you upon their way, and they go about their duties. Going to the apartment itself, the apartment is quite spectacular. It looks like it's one of several in the building. It's not too many, but it is. But each one seems, like it has a common entrance, and then they're set up within this, fairly large building.
Okay.
What is your plan here? You found the location where it is. What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna try to observe if I have to by walking by kind of slowly, gawking a little bit, or if I can, just for like, is there a doorman? Is there security? That kind of stuff.
No, there aren't doormen here. At least at this location. Maybe in a finer residence within there, you might find some sort of security or something like that. But there doesn't seem to be anybody here, and obviously anybody that's foolish enough to try to, the full might of the Aelfir would be no laughing matter.
Right. No, but does it look like a place I could walk into freely?
Based on what you see, yes.
Okay. I will try to walk in. I mean, you said it's like an apartment, right? Like I'm not walking into her home. I'm walking into a lobby, or
basically like a nice lobby. Several, obvious. There's different floors and everything like that with different apartments on them. She's on the third floor, based on what you can discern from this, because it does, for intents and purposes, it does seem to have a directory of residences that you can read here. And it pretty much can take you right up to there. It's a stairway that spirals up the center of the place.
Okay. I will try to walk up the stairway, in my best subservient type, rapidly, but not fast, trying not to draw attention to myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Head down, shoulders hunched a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like, at this point, as you make your way through, because it's a smaller apartment or there's a few residents, you don't actually bump into anybody or any servants going up there. So you're not sure who's maintaining this, but it is immaculately maintained. Like it's very, very nice. Getting up to her door, you found her apartment. What do you?
I found her apartment. I'm assuming she's still at the Basilica doing her pre-ritual stuff.
Yeah, she's at the plaza doing her sermons and stuff like that. Pause real quick. Brent, is there anything that you're doing in particular as Jeff is doing this right now?
No, this is great.
Okay. All right.
Or stupid. I still haven't.
Great. It's fantastic.
We're making it up on the
It's proactive.
Just so you know, if for some reason the Black Guard have a reason to be there, apparently they have custom-made shotguns.
Like I said, proactive. That's what's
I just want to mention that.
Well, I'm not trying to break in or anything, so.
Yes.
I'm not trying to break in.
Okay.
Yes.
So, are you breaking in?
I'm knocking.
Okay. It doesn't appear as you don't have any kind of answer. It doesn't appear as though you have an answer. Good job, Mike. You do. There is not a response.
I gently try the doorknob.
Gently try the doorknob.
I maybe these rich people are so ensconced in their gated community that they don't lock their doors. I don't know.
That is a good question. Do they lock their doors? I'm going to say yes, they do lock their doors when they leave. Or at least she does lock her door. And you're not sure if that's atypical because you haven't been around these people enough. But she at least locks her door.
Okay. I bend down, take a folded piece of paper out of my pocket, and slide it under the door. Would you like to know more about the folded piece of paper, or we're just going to...
I'm just going to assume it's a picture of a banana, which is going to be oh so helpful. And
I would like to know more.
No,
yes,
it just has, Sister Crimson Clouds to Sunrise on it. And that the note says that Bishop Solemnize the Fallen and his compatriots know of your secret relationship with the Drow.
You just hastily scrawl, they know of your relationship with the Drow.
Really?
No, I already had it pre-written.
Okay. And then after that, you just kind of skedaddle? Is that what
Walk
I
out,
understand? Yeah. Okay.
It seems like not the kind of place to loiter and be questioned about why you're there.
All right. So yeah, you make your way out. You slink back to the vents. You probably travel down a different route than you went there just to avoid the
I would try to go down a different route just in case anybody had secretly tried to follow me. I'd probably pause at street corners and glance back and little things just to see if somebody's following me.
Because I can imagine like going and seeing the same servant. They're like, "You lost again? Suspicious?"
No, I don't know. And I certainly don't want to bump because the Drow are more likely to pay attention to me than any of the Aelfir. Unless I have done something inadvertently to trigger something. But I'm sure the servants, to a certain extent, know the people in their neighborhoods. And if they see a stranger, it probably stands out.
Also true.
Although they're more likely not to care.
As long as I don't give them a reason to, right?
Exactly,
yes.
Yeah. If they don't have a reason to care, they don't care. That's really what it boils down to. Okay. So yeah, you make your way back through the vent to the familiar level of the Solar Basilica. For some reason, that second time through the vent felt much warmer than the first time. It might be just your body adjusting to the kind of almost air-conditioned Amaranth to the now seemingly warmer Solar Basilica level. But
I tell myself I never want to go back there.
That's fair. All right. So at this point, do you have guys? Either one of you have any other activities that is a day 4 activity?
I hate myself, but I almost want to go see if the bishop's in his office.
Okay.
I hate myself so much.
I allow it. I'm the judge in this case, I guess. I'll allow it.
I think that would be
suicidal
idea. Nah, he probably isn't going to kill you, so probably not.
He'll probably just hold you and have someone beat you while he asks you
questions.
He might
just arrest you.
He might just arrest you.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take that as a yes. Let's go see.
Yeah, let's go see Bishop.
Timing wise,
Solemn Rise the Fallen.
Would
the guy
the
seems like he
allow...
sleeps in his office, so I don't know how the timing allows.
I think I'm just wondering, timing wise, Brent, would you consider yourself there long enough to maybe see Bonchance going to the office?
Oh,
that's right.
probably.
You were there. Yeah, I forgot. I hadn't even thought of that.
Me neither. Yeah, we probably saw each other, but we don't acknowledge each other.
Okay, I'm just curious how you guys interact.
We're professionals, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, what kind of a crew do you think this is?
Well, I'm
not even sure we're getting paid for this.
Well, we're not. We're professional. We're professional.
We're zealots.
We're professional. What would be the best way to put it?
We are committed to the cause.
It's not raconteur.
No, but that's a good word. I don't hear it enough.
Okay. So you do. So Derwent, as you're going through and you've been kind of doing odd jobs at the prior's request and everything like that, setting up the temple grounds and getting things ready. You do see Bonchance making her way to the Basilica offices. Bonchance, are you still in your normal clothes? How are you?
Servants. I dressed in the servants' clothes again, I think.
Okay. And so you're kind of you can tell Bonchance is kind of making her way through to the Basilica offices with a purpose. Jeff, it's kind of up to you because you usually tend to play kind of a meek individual as you're doing this. So you do you have tunnel vision kind of making your way through? Yeah, kind of
tunnel vision, because people, even if they think that it's odd that you're there, they tend not to say anything.
Okay.
If you don't give them a reason to. That's my goal. I'm not saying it will work.
Okay.
But some of these people, I think, part of their brain flashes drow and they look past you.
Well, yeah, you're that would be common for Ilfir in this case because you're not a person.
To a degree, yeah. So so you make your way through tunnel vision. Brent obviously spies you from across the way heading into the Basilica offices. And you are right. Member Solemn Bishop Price does appear to be in his office most of the time. Obviously doing administrative tasks if he's not doing, things for the church. And when you how do you approach it? Just out of curiosity.
I knock meekly. I'm scared to be there. Because I know that I have offended him by not being at the previous meeting.
Okay. So, not knowing that you're there, you kind of the door is slightly ajar, knocking a little bit opens a little bit more, and kind of, gives that perfunctory come on in, without realizing who you are until you actually get into the room, and that that waving approach my desk turns into it freezes, and you can see just in his eyes almost not just anger, but kind of a crazed anger. And he just kind of hisses, "You." And I think we'll leave it there for tonight.
Okay.
So we can kind of know
myself. I'm sorry, Brent.
That's funny. This is good. This is perfect.
It feels like there hasn't been enough pot stirring, though.
It's true. I agree. It's true. I agree. It should be pretty interesting to see how this turns out.
Poorly, potentially.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Could turn out great.
We'll see.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, that's another episode of Spire, The City Must Fall, and our playthrough of Snuff Out the Sun. We will probably be wrapping up rather shortly. Obviously,
that doesn't sound grim at all.
Well, at least Bonchance is part of this story. Maybe wrapping up rather shortly.
I get a short night next week. I only have to be on for a quarter of the episode.
Good thing there's other pre-generated player characters.
That's right. I can just jump right in,
just from the rafters. Ha!
That's right.
So that's another episode of Snuff Out the Sun. I am enjoying this at least the story tremendously. Well, and of course, I'm enjoying how the rules are working, although I am kind of miffed that you guys are succeeding so much, which is unusual for our party. I'm not going to lie. So it is an unusual bout of luck that you've had. We'll see if that luck carries through all the way to the end of the Ascension ceremony.
We're in it to win it.
It does feel like it.
If I'm being honest, I'm beginning to wonder if we were given the right win condition. Having met some of these people and interacted with them, I don't know what the win condition is.
We just follow orders. Disrupt the ceremony. Don't let her get ascended. That's
right.
Whatever fallout happens from that.
I'm just having some distrust that that's the best thing for my people. I don't know why. It's just a feeling. I don't know why. But this feels like we could be dupes. I don't know. That doesn't mean I'm not going to carry out the job.
The church doesn't make mistakes. What is the church we're following? What's the drow church like?
Oh, the lady of
yeah. Well, no, I would believe. No, yes, of course, I would believe that's
our glorious lady.
Our glorious lady doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, but the ministry does, and you're expendable. So, good luck.
The ministry doesn't make mistakes either. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they say they don't make mistakes, but obviously, people have paid for their non-mistakes.
Nah, we're good.
So we appreciate it. If you've made it to the end of this episode, if you want to continue listening to our what are these called? Actual plays. You can of course subscribe. It would be really greatly appreciated. Also, if you have comments as to how this game is going, whether you like it, dislike it, or what games you think we should play next, don't be afraid to leave some comments in there. We love hearing from everybody and what games you've tried or think we would probably appreciate. And the cool part about this channel is that we've been playing games like nonstop for the past 3 years now. So it has led to quite a bit of experimentation. So we are open to game, I guess. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the end. And of course, if you, I'm not going to repeat myself.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. All right. So socials. How do they get us on social media if they don't want to necessarily talk to us on YouTube?
They find us on Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We are at Rollwise. You can also reach us by email, rollwiseguys@gmail.com.
Thanks. And Brent?
As always, thank you everybody for joining us. Like, subscribe, all that stuff we already said, because it's important and it helps us out. And as always, roll well, roll wise, and be safe out there, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.